Welcome to this week's episode of Unleashing Brilliance. Today, I want to dive into something that I'm often asked about, and this is how do you turn free speaking gigs into real paying business opportunities? Now, when I first started my entrepreneurial journey, speaking for free was one of the key strategies that I used to build my positioning, to find lead opportunities, and to actually get my name out there. And let me tell you, I did a lot of it. But here's the thing, I learned very quickly that there's a big difference between speaking for free and hearing crickets afterward versus speaking for free and generating real opportunity. Everything we do in business comes at a cost. I've spoken about this before. If you think about it, every decision you make, every single thing you say yes to, whether it's free or paid, every single yes has a cost. It costs us in terms of our energy, in terms of our time, in terms of our focus, and sometimes even money. If you're going to say yes to a free gig, it needs to have a return on investment, even if there is no fee involved. I got strategic very early on, and today I'm going to share with you some of these strategies so that you can take every free speaking opportunity that comes your way and turn it into something meaningful for your business. Turn it into a return on that investment. So let me take you back a moment, and you've probably experienced this, or if you haven't yet experienced it, you certainly will. It will be coming your way. You're standing on stage. You're speaking to a room full of people, giving away valuable insights from your years of experience. The applause is thunderous, and you walk off stage feeling like a rock star. But then what? You wake up the next day, you look at your email inbox, and silence. Nothing. No inquiries, no follow-ups, no connections, no new clients. And you're left wondering, what happened? What did I do wrong? This, my friends, is where so many of us fall short. We assume that just by speaking, just by showing up, just by giving away some awesome IP, just by being a rock star on stage, that we're building a pipeline of future business. But here's the thing, free speaking doesn't equal automatic ROI, return on investment. It doesn't guarantee clients knocking on your door. You've got to work that room before, during, and after your talk, after your presentation with a very clear strategy in mind. So today I'm going to explore the exact steps that I use when I speak for free, and particularly in those early days, that you can then implement too, to take every single free talk that you do as an opportunity to open doors for real business opportunity. So before we get there, there's no doubt in my mind that free speaking can be a very powerful marketing tool and opportunity to build your positioning, to showcase your authority, to build your profile, and to get in front of your target audience. Think of it as planting the seeds. The people in that audience are either your ideal clients or they'll know people who are. But as with any garden, seeds don't grow without watering, without a little bit of TLC and tendering. So the question you're going to ask yourself is, how do you nurture this exposure into paid work? First things first, free gigs are not about giving away your expertise for nothing. They are about leveraging the platform that you have been given. Done right, free speaking gigs can lead to new clients, consulting gigs, or even lucrative speaking fees down the line. But you've got to be smart about it. Let's just talk about the danger zone for a second. And this is something that I see so often with so many of my clients who are speaking for free. I've seen too many amazing business people fall into what I call that resentment trap of free speaking. You give and you give. You spend hours creating unique content for every single free gig. You've got that energy spike as you lead in the adrenaline, and then afterwards it's like, oh, and you're speaking for free again and again and again, but nothing comes of it. Suddenly you start feeling frustrated. You may be wondering, why am I giving away my time, my energy, my IP, and for nothing? That's not building a business at all. It's actually draining you. So here's the truth. Again, if you don't think strategically about what happens after the gig, you're not only losing time and energy, you're missing out on turning that exposure into business. So here's 7 tips. I'm going to share with you the 7 tips, 7 ideas, things that I have done in the early days of building my business, where I was doing a lot of speaking for free. Yep, a lot of speaking, traveling the world, traveling the country, speaking for free, literally getting my face and my IP out there in front of them. So these are tips that I learned to adopt for myself and tips that I want to share with you so you can try them out. So the first one, tip number 1, is I want you to be strategic about who you actually engage with. Before you even step on the stage, this is about getting really clear on who you need to connect with at that event. Think about who the decision makers are, who the influencers are. Maybe consider potential clients in the room. Don't leave this event without making those meaningful connections with those people. Start those conversations before and after your presentation. But remember, this is not about hard selling. This is about building relationships and building trust. When you meet these right connections, when you make those right connections, when you show up with compassion and conviction in your IP, follow-up becomes much more natural and much more productive. One thing I did early on was identify the key people at every single event. And I'd make sure I introduced myself. It could be the person that had booked me. It could be the CEO. It could be some key players in the room. I'd make sure to find out who was attending those events. And I'd make a point of going and finding them and introducing myself. This was about connecting on a personal level and making sure that I could, at that moment in time, leave the door open for future conversations. And these relationships often led to more consulting work, to partnership opportunities, and very often led to brand new clients, because those relationships, when I asked, can you introduce me to someone else, they always did. So tip number 1 is really about becoming much more strategic about who you engage with at those free speaking events. So think about that next time you go. Who's going? Who are the decision makers? Who are the influencers? Tip number 2 is really about having a post-speaking follow-up strategy. Speaking for free does not have to end when you leave the stage. The real magic happens in the follow-up. Don't wait for people to come to you. Take the initiative within 24 to 48 hours of your presentation. Send a follow-up email. Send a thank you for. If you look back at a previous podcast, I talk about this opportunity of adding that word for on the back of the email of thanks. Do that. Send a thank you for email. Send a LinkedIn message. Connect with some of those key people that you saw or met at the event. Include a thank you note. Offer something valuable like, I don't know, a free resource, a downloadable guide, or an invitation to book a consultation call. I had a client who turned her free gig into $10,000 worth of business simply by sending a follow-up email that offered attendees a free consultation. People need an easy way to take that next step with you. So don't leave it by chance. Make sure that you are intentional and strategic with your follow-up strategy. Tip number 3, get content. Positioning. Get content, whether it be photos, videos, testimonials. Get content. Capture the moment. When you're speaking for free, the value doesn't end with your talk. Use that time to get content that will serve you long after the event is over. Can you get someone to turn up to take professional photos of you? Don't have a budget? Maybe ask if you can get a friend, a colleague, a contact to turn up at the event for free so that they take photos of you. Don't have a budget? Maybe ask the event organizers if they're planning to have a photographer at the event. And here's what I do. I then ask for an introduction to that photographer. I contact them before the event. I let them know I'm one of the speakers, and I ask them if they can take some photos of me on stage that I can use thereafter. I'm intentional about connecting with that photographer or that videographer. Reach out, ask for some help, ask if they can do this for you. Get your shot, that master shot of you, that amazing amazing photo of you speaking from stage in their shot list. And you can offer to pay for that one photo. Action shots of you engaging with your audience, speaking from the stage, sharing your expertise are so powerful. And video is even better. If you can record snippets of your talk that you can share on social media, on your website, in follow-up emails, even a short video clip can be repurposed multiple times to build your positioning and showcase your authority. Here's another tip in here in terms of content. One of the things I often do is gather vox pops. These are quick, candid videos, voice recordings from audience members where they are sharing what they learned or how your talk impacted them. It's real, it's in the moment, you're capturing that energy, it's authentic, it's powerful social proof. You can even ask attendees to give you a voice testimonial afterwards. They can share a written testimonial on LinkedIn for you. The key thing here is getting that raw feedback, getting that in the moment content while everyone is buzzing with energy is so powerful. These assets are gold, absolute gold for your social media, for your websites, for your email campaigns. You can use them to build your authority long after the event is over. And don't forget that if you're going to share this stuff on social media, don't forget to tag the event, mention that you were a speaker, even tag some of those important people that you met, some of those influencers that you met, some of those decision makers that you met, because this will reinforce your expertise and it shows that you're in demand. So content. So valuable to capture in that moment, and the ROI of having that content will last way into the long term, particularly as an ROI if you're doing a free speaking gig. All right, tip number 4 is about using that social proof to build your online presence. So very similar to tip number 3. But what I see too often is people get the content and then they do nothing with it. So these next 2 tips are about leveraging that content. So tip number 4, use social proof to build your online presence. Once you've gathered the testimonials, the photos, the videos, use them to build your online presence. Share everything. Those moments of connection and feedback become incredibly powerful when used as social proof across all of your platforms. Remember, people buy from people they trust. When potential clients see you engaging with audiences and hear from attendees about the impact of your talk, it reinforces that you are the go-to expert in your field. In one of my talks, I had an attendee post an incredible review about how much value they received. It was so cool. They literally took a photo themselves, they posted it on LinkedIn, they shared a review of the event and tagged me in it. And I reshared that across my own platforms. And guess what? 2 new inquiries popped into my inbox within 24 hours. Social proof. Leveraging the content that you have across your social platforms, having a strategy of how you're doing that can absolutely build your position of authority, and it has the potential to lead to business leads, to more business. Tip number 5, offer value beyond the stage. Many speakers assume that the value ends when the applause dies down. But I really want you to think about not leaving money on the table. Make sure that you're offering something actionable for your audience to take away. Again, it could be a free strategy call. It could be a QR code to download some additional resources. It could be a discount to attend a workshop or a discount to your services. It could be a clarity call or a free Q&A call. Whatever it is, the point here is you want to find a way to easily enable your audience to take that next step, to reach out and get more information from you. When I speak for free, I always offer that next step. It could be a free 30-minute consultation. For me, often it is a QR code to access a page where there's some exclusive training or some further resources that they can access. What happens is people who are wowed by your presentation, they'll want to go deeper with you. People that may have had questions but felt a little bit shy to be able to ask those questions publicly, they'll then ask those questions privately. You've got to give them a way to enable people to ask those questions or to go deeper. So always think about how you can offer way more value from the stage. Tip number 6. What about writing a blog or recording a vlog or even a podcast about the experience, about the event? Now, this is quite a powerful move that most people actually overlook. After your free speaking gig, write that longer form piece, the blog, the newsletter about your experience. Reflect on what you shared, what you noticed about the audience, maybe share some key insights from the event. You could record a vlog sharing behind the scenes moments, key takeaways, how that event impacted you. You could even record a podcast about the event, why you spoke, what you noticed, what you shared, and some of the feedback from it and what the impact of that made you feel. By sharing your reflections, you're not only keeping the conversation going, but you're also showing your audience that you're actively involved in your industry and delivering value. Plus, again, it's a fantastic way to demonstrate your own thought leadership, your own perspective, and to keep your name in front of potential clients long after the event. You could, for example, write a post titled 5 Lessons I Learned from Speaking at insert event name, or behind the scenes of my talk on insert topic. People love to get a peek behind the scenes. It actually humanizes you. It builds rapport and connection, and it leads to that deeper engagement. And also, don't forget to include a call to action here in that blog or that vlog or that podcast, whether it's to book a session, to buy your book, to subscribe to a newsletter, or to engage in a phone call or conversation. And the final tip is, what about creating a post-event lead magnet? Here's a real actionable tip to help you generate leads after the event. Create a lead magnet based on your presentation, on what it is that you shared. It could be a free downloadable guide. It could be a checklist or even a mini course that expands on the key points that you shared during your talk. Promote this lead magnet in your post-event email or social media, in your blog. The goal here is to capture email addresses and continue nurturing those leads through whatever your marketing funnel is. By doing this, you can turn that buzz from your free gig into long-term engagement and potential calls. I have a mini course that I use for this exact thing, particularly if I'm talking about networking. Again, it's a QR code, goes to a page, they can register. and they get a 90-day follow-up program. The intention there is first and foremost to embed the learning and to give them more tips, but also so that I can start nurturing and building connections with those people. So there you have it. Free speaking gigs don't just have to be about exposure. They can be one of the most powerful ways to generate real business opportunities if you approach them strategically. So to recap, it's about being intentional about who you connect with. It's about following up with value, capturing content, offering a clear next step, and keeping the momentum going with blogs, social proofs, and lead magnets. The key is consistency and strategy. Every single free speaking gig that you do is an opportunity to build your business. Please make sure that doing a free speaking gig isn't a cost to the business, but does provide an opportunity to your business, whether it be exposure, social proof, positioning, leads, content, whatever it is. Every single free speaking gig has an opportunity to convert into business. I'd love to hear how you're putting these tips into action. I'd love to hear what you think. Have you recently done a free speaking gig, and how did it go? What opportunities came out of it? Please let me know, because I'm here to help you make the most of every single speaking opportunity you say yes to. Until next time, stay inspired, stay focused, and please keep unleashing your brilliance, because I know that you've absolutely got this.